Hi everybody, it's Linda Keane here, and today I have with me Joanne Audi LeBlanc. And Joanna is from Quebec in Canada, a very experienced hydrotherapist and land trainer as well. But we're going to chat more about the pool than we are the water today. So, hi Joanne.
Hi, how are you, Linda?
I'm very good, thanks. So Joanne and I met first at one of the ATRI conferences in Florida. And Joanne, I did one of her amazing classes where she used a towel in the pool, and it was phenomenal. I was so excited about this, and I know that Joanne can tell us a lot more about what she's done with the towel and everything. But to start with, Joanne, how long have you been working in the water?
In the water, I would say over 30 plus years. We'll keep it safe. We'll keep it safe.
Absolutely. So did you start off in therapy, or did you have a journey that brought you to therapy?
I had a journey that brought me to therapy. I was a land instructor. As I was getting more and more land exercises in the local higher end gyms, realized that a lot of my clients had different pathologies like chronic pain, arthritis, fibromyalgia, and they were more and more limited with our land programs. And so one year, my husband or my family, we decided to get an outdoor pool, personal pool in our backyard, and told my husband one morning, I'm going to pay off this pool in one summer. And he says, how are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to offer classes in the pool. He says, well, who's going to come? I said, watch out. So my first summer, I had 8 groups of 10 people come in a week in my backyard pool, and I would convert my shed into a changing room. Like it would take me 5 minutes to take out the bikes and the lawnmower, and then put dividers in there. People could change, get into the pool, change again, and away you go. So the first year I had 8 groups. The second year I had 15, and the last year I had 23 groups of 10 people. So I had 230 people coming into a backyard pool in my third summer. So now the need was to continue during the winter, because as you know, in Canada, it's not cold, it's extremely cold. Okay, so it was like, okay, so what do I do? So I started to rent out hotel pools. At that time, we could rent out hotel pools that were warm and have a liability insurance, and I was fine with that. But then they started getting problems with my clients and everything else. So that was not feasible anymore. Then ended up working for employees at a children's rehab center, offering land workouts for them at lunchtime and after work, and found out very quickly they had a therapeutic pool. So it was a 92-degree pool on 3 levels, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, and hardly used. And because I was not qualified to teach or to do any therapy with children, because my liability insurance didn't allow me to do that, I asked if I could rent out their pool for adult rehab. And they said, well, as long as it's rehab, yeah, because it's a therapeutic pool. So I started there in 1990, actually, and I've been there ever since. Yeah. So that was my first pool. That's where we work. That's where we do the majority of our therapy, and we'll come back to the types of programs we offer there. And from there, progressed to 2 other pools to provide a closer pool area for my clients who are spread out, throughout the city, throughout the suburbs. And for some of them to travel to the rehab center was a little too far. So I was able to find pools a little closer to clients. I also have pools now. I have actually 2 pools. The 2 other pools are now inside retirement homes. So the water is warmer. Either I use the clients, I think I don't want to say use. Either the clients living in that home come to my classes, combined with my own clients, so it makes it more feasible. And the rental is very minimal because I can argue that their clients are coming into their pool. So it's a marketing thing.
Absolutely.
Makes it good. But right now I'm out of a business because the COVID has closed all the pools here. The outdoor pools are now open, but they're way too cold. And so we have now received since yesterday a possibility of opening this summer the indoor pools with a lot of you know, all the different restrictions that we'll have, which we'll have to, I think we'll have to reevaluate how feasible it is, because we
Yeah.
could easily fit 12, 15 people in most of our pools, and that won't be possible anymore. So it still has to be feasible when we pay the rent and the equipment and the salaries and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
That's the difficult bit, isn't it? Because,
Yeah.
you know, we've got the same over here. We're reopening some of the pools sort of second week of July, but it's for lane swimming only, no therapy, because there's sort of,
So, yeah.
so yeah, it's gonna be a tricky one, but still.
Yeah, but I think, you know, if everyone, like the government, like I read that the rehab pool is government owned, if they are, because that's my most expensive rental, and if they're good with maintaining the present rental rate, then I'm good. I can bring it down to, you know, a smaller number. The other two pools, the rentals are less, so I can play around, offering more semi-private, more like 4 per pool or 4 per group, and then increasing the rate just a little bit so it makes it more feasible. It's just a question of, you know, what comes in and what goes out.
Absolutely.
To have more come in than what comes out, basically. So yeah.
So you're gonna have to wear the face visors.
No, well, actually, they're not into that yet, because we argued that the visors in the pool would be way too hot, creating discomfort, creating almost fainting. I have very low blood pressure. So if the head gets too hot, then I'm gone. I'm passed out. So yeah, no. But I don't go in the pool. With a lot of my therapy groups, we're on the pool deck. We go in the water one-on-one or groups of 4. But then again, there's that distancing that we may have to respect, because I was very touchy-feely in the private, the one-on-one and the semi-private. You know, how you touch to be able to feel better, and I don't know how that's going to work. You know, turn your face away and treat from behind. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's an option. Or underwater while the client's above water. I don't know. We'll figure
with a mask.
Mask and snorkel. Yeah.
We'll find a way. Because
for sure.
People, don't they? They really do. And I think when we all get back, there's going to be so many people with post-traumatic stress, with chronic pain because of the stress and everything else.
Yeah.
I think,
and the COVID patients coming in.
Yeah, and the COVID patients, they're definitely going to need to.
Yeah, for sure.
Muscle weakness and the muscle wastage is just going to be, you know, scary. Really.
Yeah, scary for sure.
So we do need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit then about the programs that you've developed and created for being in the pool. So you say you've got programs for different things. Tell me a bit about.
Okay. Well, I was the first. I mean, I'm still the only one doing aquatic therapy in my province as we know it, as you and I know it. And because of that, I've created my own program from all the experience I've gained through the years of being an international presenter and getting, you know, continuing education credits and all that, and just taking all that information and creating programs that fit the needs of my clients here in my province. And so we have the typical aquatic therapy for chronic pain, dealing with working on mobility, flexibility, muscle strengthening, working and everything, all of that, starting off with postural consciousness and just working on posture, because as we know, chronic pain increases adapted postures and everything else. So you need to just work on that. And we drill that. I mean, literally drill it down their throats to the point that now it's a standing joke. It's that I dream about you, to bring down my shoulders and to extend and to, you know, just contract my core. And well, good. That's what I want. But from that, we've seen tremendous progress in our clients. And we don't have any relapses. Our clients coming in choose to stay with us because they're comfortable in the warm water. They're comfortable with the progression that we do. So we have that typical aquatic therapy program where people come in, they usually have a medical prescription that describes their pathology. And so we just take it from there. They come in, they have to come in one-on-one. and we'll go from 1 to 4 sessions one-on-one, lead them to semi-private, 4 to 6 clients in a class. And we have stations around the pool. And each station, there are exercises adapted to the people who are registered in that semi-private class. And then we have the group. So they progress from private, semi-private to group. Group, we have anywhere between 12 and 15 participants. And there we're in like the post-rehab, maintaining the muscle strengthening, mobility, flexibility, and always trying to increase the physical conditioning component so that they have a better quality of life. So 9 times out of 10, I mean, like we have, very humbly, we have a lot of success in that program. And this is in our therapeutic 92-degree pool, where there's no cardio. No cardio, I mean, at 92 degrees, they all have, you know, high blood pressure and cardiac problems and everything else. And then if we see from an evaluation, we see that they could progress into a cooler pool, therefore adding a little bit of cardio work, more the fitness, but it's always the adaptive fitness, and that's what I thoroughly enjoy. I love doing the rehab. I mean, don't get me, I mean, the rehab is my baby. But doing that adaptive fitness program is like, there's no limit. There's no limit to what you can do. And so we progress them into an 87, 88-degree pool, and we do a little bit of cardio, but it's continuous movement. Whereas the rehab, it's the movement. We can't say we recover, but we'll go get a piece of equipment and then come back. So they're recovering, or they're walking between a stunt of exercise. Whereas the adaptive fitness, it's ongoing for an hour. So but it's interval. So we'll do a portion of cardio, portion muscular training, portion flexibility, then back to cardio. So they're always recovering, but they're always moving. And the programs in the adapted cardio or the adapted fitness are always related to ADL, the activities of daily living, the pushing, the pulling, the sitting, the standing, and those things that they do on a day-to-day basis that they take for granted, but they often do not very well. And so we increase the mobility in the hips, in the knees, in the lower back, so that they can squat down and get that heavy piece of, that heavy pot or whatever. And then from there, we can progress into a cooler pool that is about 84 degrees. And then we're really into more cardio, very active. And this is irrelevant of age. When we see that, I mean, my oldest one in the cardio is 88 years old, and she's just like way up there. But now realize that she can do stuff in the water. And most of this program, the cardio program, is mostly a transitional depth to deep water. So they don't have that much of an impact. Those who aren't comfortable with those depths, we do have the shallower end, and then we just adapt those moves so there's not too much jumping and jarring in the bottom of the pool. I work a lot on the pool noodle. I find that being suspended in water for at least 45 minutes gets them to be more aware of the contraction at the core. And so when your core is strong, as you know, then everything else just fits perfectly. You're more aware of your posture. You're more aware of what's working, how's working. And we educate all of our clients into what are you feeling. In this exercise, where are you feeling the work? And now they know. Now they know that, I expect you to concentrate here somewhere in your body and let me know where it's working. So they don't have time to talk. They have time to concentrate. But the social is extremely important. And that's why when we do like the flexibility and we do the cardio, they don't talk, they're dying. But when they're doing the flexibility or the recovery in the rehab, or the aquatic therapy, when they're going to get a piece of equipment or putting a piece of equipment away, like on the side of the pool, then that's when they do their social thing. But we ask that when we teach, when we talk, that they listen, because it's to their advantage. Otherwise, you lose control. You lose control, and it's frustrating for you as a therapist and an instructor, but it's also frustrating for them because they're not progressing, they're not listening. So it's just a question of educating the people. So basically that's what I do. It's 3 pools. I work out of the 3 pools at much lesser hours now. I work with 1 staff member now. I used to have, before I had cancer, I had 7 employees, and realized very quickly, don't need that. Nope. 7 women? No.
Definitely not.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, working. Well, actually, we have the same number of hours. We're offering the same number of hours, but there's 2 of us. So Corinne is working full time, and I'm working part time. So the 2 of us together, we offer the same number of hours that we did with 7 staff members. So it's all good, and less stress and less less of a hassle.
Yeah, definitely less hassle.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. So I think I'm going to know the answer generally because of what you just said, but what's your favorite piece of equipment to use in the pool?
Well, actually, I have it here. I could show it to you. You've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, show it to us.
So it's as Katrine really described it very well.
Yeah.
It's a piece of mesh material that is 4 feet long by maybe 2 feet. Let me move back here. So there you go. That's the length. Okay, so it's like basically 4 feet long. On one side you have 1 pocket. You see that the hem here. Okay, a second and a third, and on the other side you have just 1. The purpose being that the different pockets will increase the resistance as you go wider and wider on the, like if you go to the 2 extremes, the 2 end pockets, obviously it's a lot wider, so you're displacing much more water, much more resistance. But a lot of my clients have, chronic pain in their shoulders, so we start and they're just holding it on. And so this creates drag in the water, and then progress to 1 hand in 1 pocket, to 2 hands in the closer pockets, and then just progress over. As Katrine was saying, we work a lot upper body with that. That's the main purpose. But we also work lower body for balance, proprioception, a lot of proprioception. So our stroke clients and our clients who are coming in with, I think the COVID patients will profit from this extremely a lot. But it's for all types of clientele. I mean, when you present this little piece of material to a male client, he looks at you and he laughs. He goes, seriously, try it. If you have a male coming in with tendonitis in one shoulder, both shoulders, he can hardly push it down. That's how much resistance. Obviously, it goes with the range of motion, goes with the speed, goes with if you're moving at the same time in the water. So you're increasing the resistance progressively and exponentially with the range of motion and the speed and the displacement in the water. So it's really and it's very easily carryable. All of my clients buy one, and so their response. And now with the COVID, we're looking at, thank goodness we made them buy their equipment, because I don't think we'll be able to share equipment in as much.
No, this is something that I've been saying, is that even with my clients, I'm going to recommend that they purchase their own equipment. So equipment that's small and fits into the swimming bag is going to be perfect. Absolutely perfect. So I have the 2 retirement homes that we rent the pools from. People are living in the building, so it's not a problem for them to go around with the aqua gel and with the pool noodle. They just go from their home down to the pool. And the problem is the rehab pool, where people are coming from the exterior, from their homes into the rehab center. So in the dead of winter at minus 35 degrees Celsius, carrying a pool noodle, it may be a little cold by the time it comes into the pool. So we'll have to adjust, but we'll adjust with the equipment that they can carry, and that's not a problem. But seriously, I love the aquagel because it's so diverse, and it's diverse for every type of clientele, easy to carry, easy to take care of, because we really worked hard on the type of material and the thread and the binding. Like the binding on one side is white, on the other side is yellow. So this is the opening of the pocket. So visually, people can see it a lot faster, you see? So brilliant. And the color, my goodness, the color, that was the longest thing. Like, what color? Red was disastrous because red died in the water, like literally changed color. The water changed color. So we said, okay, we can't do that. White, we couldn't see in the bottom of the pool. A lot of the pools are very light colored in the bottom. Blue was a problem. So we finally found yellow and said, okay, we'll call it, the aqua gel. And as Katrine was saying, aqua gel are my initiation, is my initials.
Initials. The French. I haven't spoken English since January.
You're doing really good. So the Aquagel is your favorite piece of kit. So that's understandable, I think. So what other sort of like equipment do you tend to use? You said you use the noodle. Is there anything else that you use?
We use the noodle, and we use a lot of time. Again, Netherlands sells that. It's a ring. It's a floating ring about this in diameter, quite big, that you can put in, like you just work here. I don't have any here. They're in my locker, but that you can put here as floaters. A lot of people, not a lot, some clients cannot straddle a pool noodle because it'll just increase lower back pain, hip pain, and the pool noodle is very narrow. But for some reason, it's too much buoyancy underneath the body. So we use the rings, and they slip it onto their leg, into the thigh area, into the groin area, and depending on their floating and their density, they'll use a pair or 2 pairs or 3 pairs. And all of a sudden, they can sit in a more comfortable position, in a suspended position. And life has just changed for them, and we can make them progress. Because I love working with the pool noodle. I mean, that's my second best piece of equipment. It's very diverse, very versatile. You can use it for upper body, lower body, core, back, you name it, even relaxing, just, sit on it, lie on it. But there are certain positions on the pool noodle that will increase pain or just aggravate a pathology. The noodles, the rings, what I enjoy is that you can use them as a floating device, but you can also use them as a resistance piece of equipment. It's floating, but if people can't use the hand buoys, which in my opinion should never be used in aquatic therapy unless you're like in post rehab, because it's very difficult to sink a buoy. You have to first use all of your upper back, shoulder muscles, pecs, and everything, and triceps, to sink the piece of equipment, and then from there maintain that stability, and then move the piece of equipment in the water. So not everyone proprioceptively can do that. So to progress, for example, from the Aquagel to the ring, to maybe and maybe never the hand buoy is great. But to go from someone who has a pathology in the shoulder and bring them into, hold on, are you there? Yeah, I'll just plug myself in. I just panicked there. Okay, sorry. To progress into the hand buoy or to bring them into the hand buoy too soon in therapy it'll just create chaos and pain, and you're not going to go anywhere. So those rings again I know they're sold in the Netherlands. They're probably sold in other countries in Europe, but I go with the Netherlands because Katrine is there. And I love my little Katrine. So but and I try not to use too much equipment because it becomes overwhelming for clients. Like, if a client can't use, for example, you're using 4 pieces of equipment: the Aquagel, the pool noodle, the hand buoy, and a ball, a slightly deflated ball. Those are 4 pieces of equipment that you expect every client to use in some type of exercise. But what if you're in a group exercise and you have 2 clients who can't use 2 or 3 pieces of equipment? How discouraging is that for them? So what we try to do is use pieces of equipment that if you're in a group exercise that everyone can use. You're not discriminating. Because for me, the worst scenario is to be in a class of no matter how many participants, and that you say, well, okay, you can't use that because of your problem, your injury. So, well, you can do this instead. Seriously? No. If you can't do it, then no one's going to do it. We'll just do something else that everyone can do. And that's always been my philosophy. If my group can't do everything together, and yes, I will adapt each move to each client, but if a piece of equipment inhibits a client or doesn't allow a client to progress as well as the others, then I just won't use it. But I will use it. I will use it on a one-on-one. I will use it for semi-private, because then it's like semi-private, it's stations, and in the station you have all of the adapted moves. But in a group setting, no. So I keep it simple. Aquagel, pool noodle, have a lot of fun with that. In the semi-private groups and in the one-on-one, then yes, we use more equipment. We have the trampoline, and we have the aqua paddles, and we have the wet gloves and everything else there. But at the end of the day, I keep it simple for the group. Also because at one point you have to purchase so much equipment. Where it's expensive, you have to renew it every once in a while. You have to lock it up, and it's just a problem. And if you can't lock it up, then you're carrying it. So you need to buy a truck to carry all of the equipment. So, yeah, not ideal.
No. I think also one of the things is that we get to sort of our age and we've got, you know, a wealth of experience, a wealth of years in the pool. So I think it's sort of like easier for us to adapt and have such a big sort of library in our heads of different moves and different adaptations and different things that we can do. And I think also it's another advantage with going to the conferences around the world, to different places, all the different ideas. And I think that's something that sort of, I don't know, maybe the younger people are very much sort of wanting, you know, they want the HIIT stuff, they want all that strength stuff, and they're missing the whole diversity of actually, if they do the therapy stuff as well, it actually gives them such a good groundwork to take forward to create good, strong sort of classes and strong things for the fitter population, instead of sort of, oh, you know, having the sort of 90-year-old woman that uses the dumbbells up here because you can't actually get them under the water.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I
Actually,
think
that's interesting. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and I just think it's something that, again, the saying that you hear so much through life, you can't put an old head on young shoulders. That only when you get to that age that you suddenly realise what that actual sentence means.
Yeah, exactly.
That library of knowledge that we've acquired, that we can just adapt and place all these different things into position, which I actually love. I mean, to take
it's so rewarding to have like you say, all of this library in our head and be able to share that. And no matter who is in front of you with whatever injury or pathology, you know you can do something positive in that person's life. And it's so true about the young ones. I also teach outdoor physical condition, or outdoor fitness for an association. And I mean, ironically, the majority of participants are baby boomers, 55 and older. And they all have issues. They all have musculoskeletal issues. They have psychological issues. And now with the deconfinement, I mean, they're coming out of their homes and they're raging. And so I'm the oldest one. I work out at 2 parks with 2 franchises. And they keep, the 2 groups, the 2 parks keep telling me, Joanne, please stay with us because you're the one who can teach us how to give these classes. So they have a very structured program. And like, sometimes I find it's a little too rigid. So I always ask their permission. Well, is it okay if I take these exercises and I adapt them to my group? Oh yeah, go ahead. But I mean, to the point that I'm creating a new program. So now people are coming more and more to my classes, but that's marketing for me to bring them to the pool. So it goes around. So, you know, when I see that on land, they're limited because they're on land, because of gravity, because of, you know, the different moves the limitations that we have on land. Then I bring them in the pool and they see this new world opening up on them and they realize, oh, okay. So now they'll come into the pool for maybe just a limited time, but they can resume their on-land activities after and feel so much better and be much more conscious of posture and much more conscious of proprioception and much more conscious of, okay, I can't do the move that way, but I can do it this way, you know? And so that's what, and I'm often asked by the owners of the parks or the owners of the franchises to give like mini training sessions to the younger instructors. And all of these younger instructors are all kinesiologists, physical educators, sports teachers, physical therapists, or studying to become a physical therapist. And I'm like, seriously? I'm teaching you? Like, I feel so privileged. Like Katrine was saying, you know, we're just in the water, but we feel so privileged that we can help people, other therapists or instructors, to move on in their career and to give the best of themselves to each client that's in front of them. And that's what I try to teach to these young instructors on land, and when I give workshops here in French-speaking Quebec, that guys, you know, yes, you can take a land move and throw it in the water. You'll get a minimum result, yeah, but you can go beyond and search for that beyond. Just never be satisfied with, okay, this will do, because this will never just do. That poor client will always have a relapse and always come back, and that's not what we want to do. And I keep telling them, if your client comes back one more time after you given a training program, a post-rehab program, and they're still coming back, you blew your job. You're not doing your job correctly. And so that's what you know, especially saying that to physical therapists, which I am not, really they sits them back, and they're like, who are you, you know, to tell me? But they realize that once they go in the water and we do all of the practical stuff, you know, as I'm doing the theory in a workshop, they're like, yeah, whatever. Then you get them in the pool, sit them on a pool noodle. Oh my goodness, the world has just changed for them. And then they realize, like I said in the beginning, they realize that they've done it all wrong all along. And so now there's this much more increased interest to get training in aquatic therapy here in Quebec, which I am totally grateful for. And more young therapists are coming in, or sports teachers coming in and realizing, okay, yes, this is water, but I want to bring clients into water. I know this is a feasible thing. The problem here in Quebec and probably in the UK is that they don't have much access to warm water pools. We're looking at, you know, at 86 and over. It's more like the community pools or the city pools, which are like 79, 82. And so to do any type of rehab in that water temperature, you know, and you can't just put osteoarthritis in there or rheumatoid arthritis in cold water. They'll flare up. So you're very limited in what you can do. And what I teach them is that if you're going to bring people in that cold water, you're not in rehab, you're in post-rehab. You're putting them back onto their level of fitness that they had before they were injured, or trying to get them to a higher level of fitness or of movement or mobility that will increase the quality of life. But I mean, we can't do therapy in that. Forget it.
No. I mean, one of the things that we've got over here is, unfortunately, even in the physiotherapy degrees, they don't really do aquatic therapy. You're very lucky if you get that as part of your training. It's only if you sort of go out on your placement and you happen to be placed with someone that's good. So there isn't a lot of training for that. But the general population feel, oh, I've got to go and see a physiotherapist. And you think, well, not necessarily. You know, again, the amount of years of experience that some people have got, you know, myself included, might be actually a lot more than the physios have been trained. So it's choose the experience as well as choosing the sort of qualifications, and go and see the right person for what your particular needs are. I call myself a rest of life specialist. I say, you know, because I don't have that access to the warm pools, I can't do that sort of initial stage. But if you've got a condition that is going to affect you for the rest of your life, or you are in that post rehab, then I've got tools for that. Because as you say, hard to find a warm water pool around. Very hard. And unfortunately, a lot of the hospitals are closing down their hydrotherapy pools. So because, you know, cost of maintenance, and especially now with COVID.
And you know, like all of the pools, all the indoor pools will close down. So like, you know, I'm fearful of how much these pools are going to charge once they open up again. I mean, you know, those pools will maintain at a minimum of temperature and chlorine, bromine, whatever, or salt, whatever was used. But still, you know, if there's no money coming in, So I'm not really looking forward to that. But like you were saying, or like we were saying in the beginning, we'll just have to play it by ear and see what happens and adjust when and how we can. So, but I wouldn't want to, you know, my dream is to do more workshops now. I'm more into the workshops here in Quebec, because I now know there's a need for that. people are asking me on a regular basis, when is your next workshop, or can you send me a list of your workshops and all that. And what's ironic about the workshops here in Quebec is these are workshops I've given in Europe. I was in Europe for 23 straight years at the European Aquatic Conference in Karlsruhe in Germany. And this is where I met Katrine and all of my other European co-workers and conference partners and all that. And then ATRI came along in those 22 years of presenting internationally. And I'm realizing now that in Europe, maybe not the UK, but Europe, they are well advanced in aquatic therapy. And so everything that I would teach in Europe, I have to water down in the workshops I give here because they're not ready for that. They're so entry level coming into aquatic therapy. I can't come in with a full Pilates, aqua Pilates class, or I can't come in with a full I Chi class. I can, but I have to water it down into more of a relaxing, increased mobility, breath consciousness, instead of the whole spiel behind it of, you know, consciousness and just extending. Like, you can't give too much information, which is sad, but they're all coming in at that entry level. Now more and more, what I've created in my workshops is entry level, introduction to aquatic therapy, and then upper extremity, lower extremity, Pilates, I Chi, Yo Chi, is a whole Chi Chi thing there. And so now they're realizing, okay, so a lot of them don't want to bother doing the intro. Oh no, I know, I've been in the pool for 10 years. Okay, I'll send you a questionnaire and answer it to the best of your ability. So I'm talking about, you know, the properties of water, what is resistance, how does that affect progression, how does that affect adapting moves and all that. My goodness gracious, forget it, you know, time out, they can't. So then I said, well, listen, I think you need to do the introductory class. Oh, well, I didn't think it was that important. Well, it is. And so once they do the introductory class, the introductory workshop, they realize that, okay, well, I want more because that's the idea. And then I know I give 8-hour workshops, so I can't, there's just so much you can say and do in an 8-hour program. And so then they'll come in if they're more upper extremity, lower extremity. Pilates is all of the core. It's everything related to core, lower back problems, hip problems. I mean, you know, that whole area. And so, they're realizing more and more that they need to do the workshop. Now they have more and more access to warm water pools because now some of the cities, actually more, which is ironic, not in the city center, but in the suburbs and in more like countryside, you know, like really suburbs.
Yeah.
They're building new pools, or the pool aqua centers, as they call it. And now they have the lap pool, and right next to it, they'll have the recreational pool with a beach entry, warm water, because they're realizing, oh, okay, people are getting older. They cannot go into our lap pool that is too cold. So now they're creating senior classes, the aqua senior classes, and they'll be in that shallower, warmer water. So now I'm encouraging therapists who want to go in a public pool, or try to find a pool that has that recreational pool. Yeah, but it's too shallow. I said, well, okay, sit them on a pool noodle. End of story. Like, they don't have to be standing all the time. And so they realize that, okay, if I do the training with Joanne, then I'll understand how to work with a pool noodle, because there is a way, as you know, of working with a pool noodle, and then they'll be able to progress their clients. So that's my thing going on towards retirement, more so than you know, doing the 60 hours a week in the water. Way too much. Way too much.
Yeah, I mean, a similar way, not quite as much in the same sort of direction as you, but I've done the same thing here. So I've created a program called Introduction to Aquatic Therapy, and sort of modules coming in and off that, which is something that I was going to also say, that maybe if you've got some of your workshops on Zoom or they're recorded, then we can again offer those in the UK. I did have a question. Where's it gone? So yes, that's right. What would you say has been the biggest challenge in your career over the years?
Yeah, was running a family. Taking care of a family with a husband on 12-hour shifts, that was a challenge. it was a beautiful challenge. Mind you, it was a beautiful challenge, but I was still am the perfectionist mom. So I was involved in every sport that my kids played. I have 2 children. So if they played basketball, I coached them. If they played soccer, outdoor or indoor soccer, I coached them. Plus I was on the parent teacher committee, and I was on the school committee and the organizational committee, and blah, 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 plus running a full-time business, plus running a home. Yeah, that was the challenge. I had a phenomenal husband who collaborated through all of this, and that really eased the whole burden. But when he wasn't there, he wasn't there. He was 12 hours, so he was gone from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. And if there was a fire at 6:45 at night, didn't see him till whenever. And then he'd come home after a day shift or a night shift and sleep. So where does he sleep when you're raising babies? So we made a room downstairs. And it was a challenge. And I understand how the divorce rate is so high in people who do shift work. It's not easy. It's not, I mean, you have to be there. You're alone at Christmas. You're alone on birthdays. You're alone at St. Valentine's Day. Okay, I mean, he'll come in for a short little visit and then go back to his work. Yeah. And for me, that was a challenge. But I had phenomenal collaboration with my husband. When he was there full time. He could cook, he could wash, he could clean the house. I mean, I could leave for 2 weeks to 8 weeks on conventions, and I mean, I'd come home, the house was cleaner than when I left. So that was like positive. And I knew the kids would be fed and bathed, and the homework was done and everything else. So that was all good. But when he wasn't there for 6 days, I had to be there. So I had to, it was a lot of collaboration, a lot of timing. We had his schedule a year ahead. So that was easier for me to schedule my hours, my pool hours with his schedule. Thank God I had my parents, my in-laws, who were very close to us, so I could use them, because we had never agreed that our kids would be raised in daycare. So our kids never did daycare. I was at home for the first 5 years of my daughters, which also intervened with my son's first 3 years, and that was no regret. But I can tell you that after 5 years, I needed to get out. It was, okay, I'm done. I need out of this house. Please let me out. But I did it with my husband's schedule so that we could exchange the babies on the doorstep, and I was out, he was in. But I would say that was my biggest challenge. There was never a challenge big enough in my career per se that inhibited or prevented me from progressing in my career. Yes, pool rentals, I always had to negotiate every year. The new pool rentals, they always try to increase too much. But I mean, I have enough of a mouth that I was able to always negotiate the rates at a doable rate, so that, at the end of the day, you can have somewhat of a retirement plan, and, and make a living out of your business. Yeah. But for me, there was never a challenge. There was never, ever a challenge in my career. And I was listening to your conference with Katrina, and she said her challenge was going into the therapy and not being accepted into conferences because you're not a physical therapist. Been there, done that. But I mean, I just pushed the pedal, and like she did, I just pushed and pushed. It took 3 years before I was accepted at the Valence, Switzerland therapy course with Johan Lambeck and Urs Kemper and all that. I mean, they refused me for 3 straight years because I wasn't a physical therapist. And then finally I said, okay, enough is enough. I got recommendation letters from Ruth Sova, Mary Sanders. I said, please, I need you guys to help me get into this program. And so when they read those recommendations, oh, okay. Well, not funny. For 3 years you refused me, and now you. And so when I got there were 26 of us representing like 24 countries, all physical therapists, never been in the water or very little. And so I get in the water, I'm extremely comfortable with everything they're throwing at us. And they're like, who are you? Like, where do you come from? Like, what's your background? And so they were very surprised. And I said, well, there you go, guys. You don't always have to be a physical therapist.
Yeah.
So my background, I have a bachelor in physical education, and then converted to kinesiology, and then I have that certification in aquatic therapy from Switzerland, and then continuing education credits from ATRI. I never did the certification in ATRI, although Ruth sort of harassed me every year. But it never, it would not have brought anything more to me here in Canada because it wasn't recognized. So I said, okay, I'll do the continuing education. And then finally, you know, you get so much information just going to those workshops, to those, like the symposium, for example, that for me, I didn't feel I needed the certification. And that's me personally. I know other people in the States, I know it's more recognized as a viable certification, but here in Canada, especially French-speaking Canada, oh gosh, forget it. You know, like I was saying in the beginning, the language barrier prevents therapists from being here in Quebec, the province, from being up to date in what's happening in the world in therapy. So they're totally clued out because a lot of them don't speak enough English to read English. Like if I'm going to post anything on my Facebook page concerning rehab, I have to, I'll post the English study, but then I have to do like a summary in French because, I mean, there's no way they can read that. And so it's a bit frustrating. Like my employee who works, she's French, from France. She speaks very good English. And technically, we were going to ATRI this year. And I said, I'll go with you and I won't teach. I'll just be your translator because she'll understand. But when, especially the American presenters, they have their drawl, their slang, and they use like these, I think they tend to forget that it's an international convention. They tend to forget that you can't use that. You can't use those expressions. We don't, I mean, I don't always understand them.
No,
and so, you know, and they start to abbreviate everything, you know, like the TKR, and what the heck is it, TKR? I mean, it took me ages to realize that, because in French, we never abbreviate. We'll say a total knee replacement, and, you know, and so Corinne was worried. She says, you know, we're going to be paying an arm and a leg for this, and I'll just catch like half of it. No, I'll go with you. I'll follow you like a little sheepdog, and I'll just translate for you, and that's not a problem. So, but that didn't happen because of the COVID. So maybe that's what I'm going to do next year. You know, I'd like her to go at least once so that she can get that extra training, because, you know, the only training she's got is from me so far. And I'd like her to get like other opinions and other ways of seeing, of treating different injuries and pathologies, and just my way of seeing. So
excellent. Yeah, fabulous.
Yeah.
Just,
and also because I want the aquatic therapy to continue here in Quebec. And I know that if I don't continue to train Corinne, she will stay in her little bubble, comfortable zone that we all do, it's not just her. And it'll be difficult for her to progress the whole ideal of therapy in warm water or therapy in water. So I need to, you know, just push her a little bit more and say, listen, we're going to go to ATRI together, and, you know, I'll absorb the cost and let's go and have fun. So, and then she'll get, and also because she'll get to know you guys and the different presenters, and then she'll feel more comfortable to ask questions and, you know, continue a relationship with you guys. So that's my objective also. So we'll see what 221 offers us.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm very much the same in the fact that I feel you can't take it with you. You know, it's like, why did I go and do all this education if I can't give it to other people, if I can't sort of pass it on to others? You know, there's no point in taking it in the box with you. It's got to
no, no, in the box. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. There's no use taking it in the box. And like you say, we've done expensive training. You know, you just go to the symposium at ATRI and you come out of there after 4 days and you go, oh, okay, I have enough information for the next year and a half maybe. And what I have to do every time is translate it into French. If I'm going to take any of that information and carry it on to Corinne or to a workshop that I could do, I mean, and that's the hard work. That's laborious. It's doable. I mean, I can do it, but it's just seriously Seriously, you know, it takes a few times of doing the workshop before it becomes feasible because you spend so much time translating. But you know, that's the challenges. It's and like again, it's not really a big challenge for me. It's just sit down and do it. Like you say about the Zoom, just sit down over the weekend, Joe, and do it. Yeah, no problem. I'll do it at the cottage as I'm overlooking this beautiful little lake here. Yeah, not a problem.
I do love Canada. I mean, my best friend's, she lives out there, and I go and see her, and she's got amazing looking over at Lake Ontario where she is.
Oh.
What would you say in your career, not the children, I won't let you talk that one. What is your biggest success, you feel, be it a patient or setting up the business or whatever, but in your career, what would you say?
Well, actually, can I say two, maybe 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, my biggest success, 2011, I won the Lifetime Achievement Award for all of Europe in aquatic therapy through the European Aquatic Conference with Anya Michelsen. That was unexpected. And then in that same year, I won through the Quebec Chamber of Commerce an award for a small business here. Again, someone had applied for me that I wasn't aware of, and I won. So, and I was against the vineyard and a big marketing company. And when I saw who I was up against, I said, "Oh boy, I have no chance." So I had no speech ready for this Chamber of Commerce in front of 875 people. And so they said, "And the winner is," so as I'm walking up the stairs on the stage, I'm okay, what am I going to say? I have to say something here. So I just blurted out, made people laugh. And yeah, that was my, career-wise, that was my biggest accomplishment, I would say. My second accomplishment is through a client, actually 2 clients. I had a client who had a stroke. She was a marathon runner. She was 60 years old, and major stroke with spasticity, and terrified of water. Long story short, today she swims 3 times a week, before the COVID, but swims 3 times a week with fins, backstroke, crawl, and side stroke. This is my biggest success story. So it took 3 years to get her there, but yeah, that was biggest success. One client. The second client is presently in my life. This is my new boyfriend of 8 months, and he came in with severe pain, knee pain, severe osteoarthritis in the knees, severe low back pain, osteoarthritis also. Met him here in the building, in the condos where I live, extremely overweight. And he said, "I'm looking for a coach," because we have a gym downstairs. He said, "I'm looking for a coach and a nutritionist." Well, I'm not a nutritionist, but I know enough about nutrition that I can probably coach you. And so one thing led to another. Now we're going out. But in 8 months, in a year, I would say, in a year, he's lost 45 pounds.
Wow.
The pain in the knees, like he would tell me, the pain was 12 on 10. Now the pain is 1.5 on 10.
Excellent.
So now he walks 2 hours a day, does a training program at home right now because our gym is closed, and working on core. I mean, he never knew what a core was. I don't think he even knew what abs were. Has changed his nutrition, his food, is the whole thing. Now can read a label. Had no clue how to read a label. And what's ironic about the whole thing, he's a widower of 2 wives, unfortunately. Both were vegetarians, very much into food and into proper nutrition. And he says, "I didn't want to have anything to do with that." I said, "Well, what changed it?" He says, "I just got scared when I just stepped on my scale one day, and at 298 pounds, realized, oh my goodness, I need to do something here." So he's now down at 253, still has about 20 pounds to lose. He's a very big boned guy, so I don't expect him to go under 200, but at least now he's much more functional. We cycle 50 kilometers every 2 days. During the winter, we snowshoe 2.5, 3 hours, equivalent to about 14 to 18 kilometers. So and we walk all winter and all every day. So that for me is just, and I keep telling him, so yeah, it's just because I'm your boyfriend. I said, no, 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 no. I said, you set yourself, your mind to change. And I said, you are a success story. In eight months, I've never seen that. Someone who's he's a federal police retiree, so very disciplined.
Final question then. So should you ever retire, what would you like to be remembered for?
I think, yeah, it's funny because when I was listening to Katrine, I was like, what would be, I would like to be, and I was thinking, you know, and I said, I think what I would like to be remembered is how much of a listener I am. I listen not only to the physical pain, but I'm very conscious of the psychological pain that's going in there also, or how frustrated the client is about not being able to do certain things. And so not that I go beyond my scope of practice, not at all. I mean, I don't act as a psychologist, but I hear the pain. And so for me, I always go above and beyond what I could do for a client. So I think I would like to be recognized as being a good listener and making sure that my client listens to what I say so that they understand where I want to bring them and that together we're going to go there. And I want them to remember is that in everything that I've given you in information, remember that it's always for you. It's not because I'm a therapist, but it's for your well-being and that you will get out of this. I've always given hope to my clients, to the worst case scenario, like the stroke client who was told, I just go home and sit in a chair and good luck.
Yeah.
Well, that client today is walking, 6 kilometers a day. Like seriously. So I've always believed in giving a client hope, any level of hope or any type of hope. But holy moly, if you don't have hope, why are you living? So for me, that was important, and I hope that they see me as that. And I'm very like I said, I'm a good listener, but I'm also I'm very empathetic. So I'm very physical, so I can't do that right now. But if I feel that the person is really in a lot of psychological pain also, then just that hug, like you're in the water or you're on the pool deck and I don't even say anything. I just come up and I start by touching them, see how they react. And then that hug is priceless. And also for me, I mean, it helps me too, but for them, it's like, oh, I just needed that, and whether it's a man or a woman, there's a way of hugging, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I would want to be remembered for being not only the good listener, but helping them go beyond what they ever thought or imagined they could do. Because a lot of times they come into your sessions and they just want to be relieved of some pain, or the other extreme. Can you heal me? That fatal question. Can you heal me? And my fatal answer is sure. The day I walk on water, believe me, I'll heal everyone. But I still think quite a bit, so I can't do that. But I can bring you from point A to point B, no problem. And so they're always a little surprised because other therapists don't give them that hope. It's like, well, we'll see, you're pretty, oh, that's pretty bad, Like they put it so negative a lot of times. Or I find that physical therapists in general, here in Quebec anyways, they have a protocol for each injury, for each pathology. And so once they've attained the protocol, okay, we're done, move on. Seriously? Yeah. I've never had I have a protocol, but it's non-ending. I don't believe in stopping therapy.
Yeah.
And I think you're like that too, from what, the conversations that you and I had at ATRI, is that seriously, why are we stopping? With this client, we know we can progress, and this client is seeing a progression, especially, then yeah, we'll progress, we'll keep going, and we'll find a solution. If financially that client can't continue on a one-on-one, but that would be better for him or her, then yeah, well, why don't we go to semi-private, a little cheaper for you, but we can still progress and make you go. And so people are realizing that we're not leaving them on their own. It's that come to our pools and we will guide you to wherever you want to go. And so, yeah, I think that's been my motto. It's been my motto since the beginning. It's a service. It's
Yeah.
really offering a top-notch service to the clients. And I've been told on quite a few occasions, thank you for listening and thank you for bringing me to where I never expected I would go to today. And so that, that you go to bed at night and you go, yeah, that was fun. And
Yeah.
so I could retire tomorrow morning and say, yeah, I had fun in my career. I really had a lot of fun in my career. And I am thinking of retiring, but I just went through 3 months of COVID and it's like, oh, seriously? Is that retirement? Oh, not ready, not ready. But obviously bringing down, like not doing as many hours, obviously not.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
love to coach and I love to coach Corinne. And so that's and that's easy to do.
Yeah.
What I'm realizing is, the numerous hours of spending in the water were not healthy for me. I had thyroid cancer. I'm not saying that's directly related, but when you're spending 5 to 7 hours a day in the water in a 92-degree pool, your skin pores are open, they're absorbing all of that chlorine, you're inhaling the chlorine vapors. Well, it can't be good. I mean, it can't be good. So Corinne is now on this protocol that I've insisted that she can't be more than 2 hours in the pool a day, and not 2 hours continuously. It's one like 45 minutes, then another 45, whatever. And I said, no, there's no way you're going to do that. So what I tell her sometimes, and she gets, your skin you become so itchy because you're in that chlorine all the time. So what I also tell her is like, you can be half an hour in the pool, half an hour on pool deck. Once you know that the client is stable in the water, can do their things, and just come out of the water. You don't need to be in that water all the time. I felt I had to be because being the perfectionist that I am, but realizing now today, after all that I've gone through, didn't have to be in the water all the time.
No.
You have to responsibilize them and let them know that, yeah, I'm just here. I'm just on the pool deck. I don't need to touch you all the time. You need to assume your own responsibility and feel more. Because when you're touching them, they sort of rely on you a little bit, and
Yeah.
when you let go and they go, oh, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So I'm not retiring yet, but I am slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm 63, by the way. So yeah, that's 60s. Those 60s, they don't hit you, but they're, they slow us down a little bit.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. You sit there and think, oh, it'll never happen to me. As we said, like Katrine does, it'll never happen to me, but it does. It does.
Yeah. And what counts at the end of the day, Linda, is that we're both healthy and that we still enjoy doing what we're doing and that we can still share in a different way. We don't need to be hands-on 40 hours a week. We can still do hands-on by sharing our passion like we're doing right now, and sharing through workshops and letting the youngins come in and do our work now, but do it well. And I think it's our responsibility to share our knowledge and our library of information to that other generation and make sure that they're doing it right. And I think we're doing a
Yeah.
job. You can edit that. A darn good job. We'll say a darn good job.
Good job. I do think we're probably actually sort of the faculties from the places that we've been to internationally. It's probably this first sort of generation that is actually able to go out and teach sort of multiple levels.
Yeah.
To the up and coming, and I think that's the first time this has happened, and I feel really privileged to be a part of this sort of new journey, really. That
well, we're the pioneers. Actually, I feel we're pioneers in this, and that if we do it right, that next generation coming in is going to do it right also. But like you say, we have a diverse background. Like I do land and water therapy and exercise. And I feel I have a lot to share, and I have the opportunity right now to share in both environments. And so why not do it? And so it's fun, because what I'm seeing now on land in these 2 parks that I teach is that I'm hearing postural words that are coming out that, oh, that's nice. Oh, people are using my words now, you know, like bring your
Yeah.
shoulders down into imaginary pockets and, you know,
Mm.
extend between the plexus and the belly button. And, oh, so they're not saying like stick your belly button into your, or stick your navel into your spine. They're not saying that anymore. And I'm like, okay, so things are changing a little bit here.
Yeah,
So it's really,
vocabulary.
really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing something, Linda. We're doing something, and it's exciting. It is.
Excellent.
It is exciting. Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very exciting. Okay, well, I think we've exhausted most of those topics for today. Maybe there'll be a part 2 at some point. But very much, Joanne, for joining me
Well, thank you.
this afternoon in the UK. And are we on the afternoon with you now? Yes, I think.
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a lot later than that here because I haven't got my glasses on. I think 7 o'clock here.
Oh, okay. 7. Okay. So you need to go have dinner, and I'm going to go have lunch. I haven't had lunch yet.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, Joanne. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for considering me to do this Zoom. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and hope that we'll see each other soon.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much.